So today we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark as usual on this channel, and we are going to be talking about her MVP chances. And yeah, we're doing that because in my opinion, she is probably third favorite for MVP right now. And you can never count out somebody that is third favorite, especially how these teams are going to end the season. First of all, the almost certain MVP is A'ja Wilson. She is averaging 27.5 and 12, and in her last 4 games has put up 42, 26, 41, and 30 in 3 wins. So yeah, look, they lost to Dallas, and she'd had a horrific game against Chicago. She had a not great start after the Olympics, but again, she is coming out there and dominating. Look, she's going to win unanimous MVP. I still, they're going to be the 4th seed. I don't think there's a scenario where Fee Collier gets a vote. I would like to see Fee Collier get a vote, but I still don't think there is a scenario that she gets a vote. And can somebody tell me why my Google Chrome's in French? Like, I actually can't get rid of it. I can't stop it from being in French. But if you want to look at this right now, they're the 4th seed. They are 21 and 12. Indiana are 6th seed, 18 and 16. They played them twice. The argument for Caitlin Clark over A'ja Wilson is that Caitlin Clark creates more points. A'ja Wilson scores more points, and Caitlin Clark creates more points. She is the best passer in the league. She's the best floor general in the league. There is no player that puts their teammates in easier positions to score than Caitlin Clark. I hate the phrase "makes their teammates better" because it's like she puts her teammates in a better position to succeed. Is a more accurate way of saying that. So that is all true. Defensively, A'ja Wilson is the best rim protector in the W. Caitlin Clark is non-existent on defense. She's not the worst on-ball defender in the world, especially late in games. She can kind of lock people down, but like she's the worst off-ball defender I've ever seen. She's the worst I've ever seen at getting through screens, and she takes a lot of plays off on defense. So obviously defense, A'ja Wilson's got the huge advantage. I think Caitlin Clark is a better offensive player, but the gap in her defense is way bigger than the gap in her offense. So I'd say Caitlin Clark's probably going to go into next year as a favorite for MVP. She's been playing, I think, if you subtract the first 10 games of the season, her and A'ja have been neck and neck. The first 10 games happened. So, am I saying Caitlin Clark's a shot at winning MVP? They play the Aces twice. If the Fever, somehow, they've got 7 games left in the year. They're not going to win out the season. Like, you're not going to win the season. They're playing the Lynx. They're probably not going to win the season. They're not highly unlikely to win both the Aces games. So, if they lose the Aces games, or they lose one of the Aces games, the Aces have the series win over them 3-1. Caitlin Clark scored 7 points in a game against the Aces at the start of the year. She only have like 15 or something in the second game. Like, she's been bad against the Aces. You know, the Aces, I don't think are the greatest team in the world. If the Aces 4-0 sweep them, obviously A'ja's won. She has no chance. If the Aces 3-1 beat them, she has no chance. But if they go and beat the Aces twice, you're seeing a 3.5 game lead flip into 1.5. And the Aces, I think, still have to play, if I'm not mistaken, the Liberty again. I think they might have to play the Sun again. Like, they don't have an easy run-in at all. Whereas Indiana, outside of those 2 Aces games, they're facing the Dream, they're facing the Mystics. And they're facing the Wings. So they have the Dream, Mystics, Wings. And I know the Mystics and Wings are going to be tough. It's going to be a lot harder than, say, for example, like the Mercury. You would much rather play a team that's not set in the play, a team that's like not set in the playoffs, or a team that's just set in the playoffs, like the Storm, than you would a team fighting for that 8th seed late in the season. But they have a much easier run-in than Vegas. If Indiana steal the 4th seed over Vegas, Caitlin Clark's going to be MVP. It's near, like, look, they're 3.5 games behind with 7 games to go. It'll be a miracle. They would probably need to win out the year. And if they end the year on a 12-game win streak, win out the year, and Caitlin Clark's averages go to 20, which is possible. It's possible, like, for her, if she averages, I think it's like 20, she could average 23 a game, I think, for the year to get to 20 points a game. She needs 19 a game to break the all-time rookie scoring record for total points. Obviously not points per game. Simone Augustus has that. But there is a chance that she could average 20 and 9. And yeah, I know AJ Wilson's going to set the all-time scoring record at 27. But like 20 and 9 is dumb. Like she's averaging freaking Tyrese Halliburton numbers. And if she goes and averages 20 and 9 and they somehow overtake the Aces, there's no good faith argument for AJ Wilson above Caitlin Clark. Because yes, you could say over the totality of the season it's been Asia, but also like there's been too much of a gap between the two of them since Caitlin Clark started playing well. But look, it's not going to happen. AJ Wilson's going to win MVP, and I think it's going to be unanimous. I think as of right now, I would still vote for AJ Wilson. I thought Fee Collier was getting closer. I thought like people were pushing MVP. I thought she was getting closer. She had a couple of kind of iffy games in a row against not great teams, to be honest. Like she was poor against the Wings and they lost by 20. She was very poor against Chicago. And it wasn't even like good defense. She was just bad. So I think Fee Collier's kind of quieted down a little bit. Like still all W first team. Like I think the all W first team is as good as set. Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Caitlin Clark, Fee Collier, and Asia Wilson. I think it's as good as set. I don't see a scenario where Alyssa Thomas gets it. Like, you can't give it to Alyssa Thomas over Caitlin Clark. Like, their team is stacked, but, like, they just play puke basketball. Like, the Sun are the worst team. One of the worst teams to watch. They're good, but all they do is drag teams down to their level. And she's also cheap shotted like 4 people. Like, she goes for the legs. She'll go for the legs. She'll choke slam Angel Reese. She'll shoulder it. She'll go for the concussion on Caitlin Clark. Like, I just don't really want to see it. As great as Alyssa Thomas is, no, she's not all W first team. But if somehow the Fever manage to get into a position where they're the 4th seed, it's hard to argue in good faith that it's not Caitlin Clark. It really is. Like, if they go from last in the East to the 4th seed in the entire W, and if they win out the year, they're 18 and 16 instead of 6 games left in the year. So they are, what are they if they win out the year again? They are 6 plus 18, 24. Like, if you start off 1-8 and end up 24 and 16, that is a silly turnaround. And I think she 100% deserved it there. And that's the thing where it's like, I'll talk about this in another video, but everyone being like, oh, Candace Parker's greatest rookie because she's MVP. I'm like, I'm sorry, no one averaged 27 and 12 in Candace Parker's rookie year. Like, I think she's been as good as Candace Parker was as a rookie. You could argue maybe better. And I think that coming 2nd or 3rd or 4th, like even coming 4th in MVP voting in this year with the level of play in the WNBA now, a lot of people are like, oh, there were all these legends like back in the WNBA. Stewie was not in the WNBA back then, and Asia Wilson was not in the WNBA back then. Like, obviously, every player is like a product of their era, but Stewie is just better. Like, Stewie's just better than all those players. Not that like those players didn't pave the way for players like Stewie, but she was just better. Asia Wilson's just better than them all. Caitlin Clark is just better than every point guard we've ever seen. Like, prime for prime, she's already arguably the best point guard ever. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. That is how she can win MVP. Probably won't win it, but that's how she can.